Hello and welcome back to the Strategic Gaming Podcast for our coverage of Survivor All-Stars Phase 3. My name is Mac Taylor, here to discuss how we're going to go from 8 people to the final 4. Very exciting votes the last few times, last phase. Now we're going to get into a little bit of a dissection or a dismantling, if you will, of one side. So this could get a little bit boring, but nevertheless, we're going to get into it. So we start out, Kathy, she's very hurt. She feels like, Boston Rob betrayed her, and Kathy has been someone who she's willing to flip and make moves, but she's very loyal to who she's loyal to. And she's genuinely hurt that Rob is playing the game in a way like people do play this game. I think the better people who play this game this way. It's nothing personal. It's just a game. So we're going to flip-flop, do what we have to do. Whereas Kathy is a very emotional person, is a very emotional player, and is upset that someone she thought she could 100% trust, she shouldn't have trusted in this moment. And it's just generally a rough night for everyone. They have an obstacle course reward and immunity. You're going to get letters from home. Alicia, Amber, Rob, and Sheehan win reward over the other 4. And Rob ends up winning the immunity challenge and gives up his video from home so everyone get their letters. Everyone needs their letters. This is a good thing on Rob. Rob is all about family and definitely wants everyone to hear from their family. He'll cut your throat in the game, but he does have a soft spot for family. And Rob and Kathy do kind of mend some fences. Rob says, look, it's nothing personal. It's just a game. You shouldn't have trusted me in the game. Outside of here, we're friends. We are genuinely friends, but this is Survivor, and I think you forgot that between Marquesas and now. And I do agree with Rob 100%. They should not take this personally. They should not be really mad at Boston Rob for playing the game, because he's just doing that. He's playing the game the way I think you should. And Kathy, she really wants to flip, though. She's like, well, I'm going to get you out then. There's a lot of scrambling, but at the end, by a vote of 6-2, Kathy Vavrick O'Brien. 6-2, Kathy Vavrick O'Brien going to be the next person voted out. Second member of the jury. Final thoughts on Kathy. Take 2. Final thoughts on Kathy basically are just, hey, she's a very emotional person. I think she should have won more cases. But and she was playing this game pretty well, but she kind of let Lex make that big mistake and paid the piper here for it. And I really do feel bad that she took it as hard as she did. But it's Survivor, and that's just what happens sometimes. You can't go far every time. So Sheehan is the last Mogo member, and she is trying to find an opening. And it's going to be really hard to find an opening in this tribe who is already really solid to get to the end together. And they get the old, in the Marquesas where you had to cut the ropes, was like a mask smash kind of deal. Elimination order is Tom, Jenna, Sheehan, Alicia, Rob. Comes down to Amber and Rupert. Rupert wins reward. And he basically gets to pick who gets what meal. And he gets steak and lobster and open bar, and I believe he gives Rob a cheeseburger. He gives Jenna gets some spaghetti, I think. Amber gets like a ham sandwich, and like it kind of just falls downhill. Like Alicia gets like something smaller, and then but Sheehan ends up with rice and water. So and she's making jokes like, oh yeah, I get rice and blah blah blah. Kind of rubbing Alicia the wrong way. Alicia's like, just shut up already. We don't care about you, Sheehan. And Rupert really didn't do this strategically. He probably shouldn't have shown that Alicia and Tom were on the bottom. He should have tried to maybe use some leverage and not make it known that Rob and Amber and Jenna were his number one priorities. And Tom and Alicia do talk about kind of sticking together, making it kind of a pairs game when they get to 6. Being Tom and Alicia versus Jenna and Rupert versus Rob and Amber. And so we get, like, we had this challenge in Africa. You had to hold your arm over your head. There's a bucket of water. Arm drops, bucket drops, you're out. The elimination order is Amber, Jenna, Tom, and Alicia and Boston Rob. Comes down to Rupert and Sheehan. Sheehan wins immunity, meaning that the people who wanted to be in the final 6 now have to take out one of their own at 7. And Boston Rob is infuriated that Sheehan's trying to leverage herself in. Like, hey, you got yourself a spot in the 6, but don't go messing up my plan, Sheehan. But by a vote of 6-1, Alicia, the one taken out, and she is super upset because in her eyes, her and Boston Rob were supposed to be tight, and instead he chose Rupert, Jenna, and Big Tom over her. She's very upset by this. It's very just Alicia's fuming. Final thoughts on Alicia. She played, I think, just like she was going to play in Australia, but didn't really get a chance to. She was way too trusting. But instead of Jeff Varner being the one to turn his back on her and cut her, it was Boston Rob. And I really think that's how it would have went for her had Kucha kind of prevailed in Australia. So, I really don't think Alicia's kind of gameplay, she's way too trusting, she's way too aggressive, and it doesn't come off very well. So, 7th place is probably the best she can hope for, and, I really don't ever see a spot where Alicia needs to come back, nor does she ever do well. So, she played the best that she could, but it's never going to win. So we get to the next episode, and Shan's still on the outs. And she's kind of tried to integrate herself, but all of her sarcastic remarks really don't help when you're trying to kind of go from the bottom to the top. And this Rob and Amber have such a stranglehold on the game that it's almost impossible for anyone to get any leverage whatsoever. Rupert, he's upset at the lack of the help around the camp. And, understandably, Rupert's always a workhorse, and he always seems to be on a tribe where people don't work as much. And we get the loved ones visit reward, and Rupert actually gets it this time, which is great. Because he was voted out in Pearl Islands right before it happened. And it's the loved ones doing the eating challenge. The elimination order is Amber's mom, Sheehan's mom, Rupert's wife, Jenna's brother. Comes down to Big Tom's son and Rob's brother, and Big Tom's son, Bo, wins reward, and Tom brings Rob, so Rob gets his brother on the island as well. And Big Tom's like, hey there, Rupert, why don't you take Bo out in the water and let him try his hand at catching a fish. And Bo loses a spear, one of their 2 spears, and Rupert is just like, all right, we're done here. We're done. Tired of people losing my spears every season. And we get the fire making immunity from Survivor Australia, where you gotta build the fire and you gotta fill up the buckets, and the buckets gotta hit the rope, like teeter it up and hit the rope. Big Tom wins immunity here. And Sheehan is desperately trying to flip things on Jenna. But by a vote of 5-1, Sheehan voted out. I think Sheehan played better than she did in Thailand. But, there were some things happening on Mogo Mogo where Lex was making some decisions that she should have tried to avoid him making, like taking Colby out, or even Colby aside, taking Ethan out instead of Jerry, and then taking Amber or Jerry out instead of Amber. Like Cheyenne should have helped Lex, been on Kathy's side, helped Lex not do those moves. And she'd be in a great spot because Lex is still targeted before her. But instead, she let all these bad decisions be made and rode it out. And now she's just the last one standing, and she's in 6th place. And ironically, had things went her way in Thailand and she flipped with Choigon, she probably ends up in 6th place. So, Cheyenne's game's best case scenario for both her seasons was 6th place. And I don't think she ever... she's just not a gutsy player, and because of that, I don't think she'll ever be in a position to ever win. But, I was happy to see her at least play out the game her way this time. In the next episode, everyone's really annoyed with each other. Like, this is not a happy tribe by any means. Jen and Rupert, they talk about, what it would take to maybe get Rob out. Rob and Amber, they're worried too. They're like, things could go wrong here. We're in the nitty gritty, and we can't let Tom slip through our fingers. So we get a past challenges reward, and it's the hashtag car curse. Boston Rob wins here and takes Amber on the reward, and she also ends up getting a car, but it's not technically the car curse because she didn't win the car. Rupert, he's trying to rally people against Boston Rob, especially with Rob and Amber gone. Perfect time to talk to Tom about it. And immediately, Boston Rob comes back to camp. Big Tom comes to him, and he's immediately flipping it on Rupert. Like, well, no, Rupert is the one you probably shouldn't trust, There's one thing you know about that Rupert Bonham guy. You can't take him to the end, Tom. He's going to beat you. Tom's like, oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah, you're right. There, Boston Rob. You're my pony, and I'm going to ride you all the way to the end. That's what I'm going to do. And we get the word scramble immunity. Boston Rob ends up winning this immunity. And he asks Tom, hey, did you, we're planning on voting out, Jenna, then Rupert, then us at the end. And he's like, well, I don't know. Me and Rupert are pretty tied. I'd say at the Final Four it'd be me and Rupert against you and Amber. Bad move, bad story. Because of that, 4-1, Tom voted out here. Tom is livid because he's like, we're supposed to be the 3. Now I'm here in 5th place. Big Tom very upset here, and my thoughts on Big Tom's game. He really rode this one. I think in Africa, he was a little more vocal, a little bit of a more strategic player. And here in All-Stars, he was doing just like you joked about with Rob. He was just riding his coattails to the end, and kind of got a little wishy-washy there. And Boston Rob took him out. I really didn't see much from Big Tom this season of strategy. It was mostly just TV moments. But getting 4th and 5th place in your 2 seasons ain't a bad run. And with that, we end phase 3 of Survivor of the All-Stars. So we're going to head on in here to phase 4, the final 4. Here we got, Boston Rob, Amber, Rupert, and Jenna going to the Final 4. And there's a lot of talks here about the Purple Rock. If Jenna and Rupert vote together and Rob and Amber vote together, there's going to be a tie, and we could have a Marquesas situation. And they don't really want that to happen. Then they have an obstacle maze immunity. Comes down to Amber and Rupert. Amber going to win immunity here. And Jenna, she's like, hey, I'm considering let's pin our votes on Rob. Him and Amber will vote you, and there's a good chance I could go home, there's a chance you can go home, or there's a chance we get Rob. But she's like, I don't really know if I want to do that. And Rupert's like, hey, it's a chance to get Rob out. And she's like, yeah, but it could be me, and I don't really want it to be me. I'd rather it just be you and then me being the final three. And honestly, I think it was a mistake for her not to do the tie here. Because if they do go to rocks, she's got a 33% chance she can go home. And she's got a 33% chance Rupert will go home, 33% Rob will go home. So there's a 66% chance that it's not her. And if Rupert goes out, Rupert was going to go out anyway, and now you're in the final three with the couple, and it's still not great for you, but you tried your best. If she does it and she goes home, she was probably just going to end up in third place. Fourth place ain't that, it's not much of a difference between fourth and third. There's no money difference. You might as well, she went for broke, didn't get it, but hey, she made a ballsy move. If she goes to rocks and Boston Rob goes home, she's in the final three with Rupert and Amber. Odds are Rupert probably wins last immunity, takes her to the end, or she wins and takes Rupert. Amber wins, Amber takes her because she's not going to take Rupert because everyone would totally vote for Rupert to win Survivor. So in that scenario, she has, she'll lose to Rupert. She'll probably beat Amber because the jury's bitter. And she has a 100% chance of going to the final two. Whereas going with Rob and Amber, she has to win the final immunity, take herself to the end. So, she's gone from a pretty much dead-in-the-water situation to a chance where, even if she goes up against Rupert, she would have done this whole crazy rock fiasco beat. She's the one that took down Rob and Amber, so she'd have a good spot. So I think her not going with this is a mistake because she could be the hero to everyone, including Rupert, who got saved by her. And now, if they didn't do rocks and it was a fire-making challenge, Rupert probably beats Rob in a fire-making challenge. And Rob goes out, and Rupert and her still look like heroes. But because she made that vote happen. So, really got to give it up for someone who would make that move. But, as the books will say, by a vote of 3-1, Rupert voted out in fourth place. Because Jenna made a terrible mistake. Final thoughts on Rupert. Man, what a journey. Pearl Islands, he gets 8th place. Comes back right in the next season. Plays against all the vets, some of the best players in Survivor history, and gets all the way to 4th place. Congratulations to Rupert Bonham for that. I think he is a great player. I don't think he could have asked for much better. Some people say he rode Rob and Amber a little too far, but he was in a bad spot. He was on the losing tribe at the start, and it was already kind of a threat, and he managed to get to the 4th place from 8 to 4. He managed to do it, and he was the one that was ready to flip on Rob and Amber, but everybody else wasn't ready to do it. So, I give Rupert all the credit in the world, and I can't wait to see him play again on Heroes vs. Villains. So, all in all, Rupert Bonham, great Survivor player. So we get the Fallen Comrades, and then the Hold On to the Idol immunity. Comes down to Amber and Boston Rob. Rob wins immunity, obviously takes Jenna out. She's guaranteed loss here. Jenna's out in 3rd place. Rob takes Amber to the final 2. And we get the jury questioning, is really more of just a jury ranting. Lex basically says, y'all are terrible people. I had my integrity. I I don't have respect for you. We're not friends. I'm done with you. And Lex, I really think, Lex, he talked about not lying. Lex lied to Ethan. He lied. I mean, he told them they were going out, but he double-crossed Ethan and Colby and Jerry, like back to back to back. And then later in the reunion show, he's like, well, that just wasn't part of my plan. Lex is a sore loser in this moment. He did not like that he lost. And it's not like Africa where he could be like, oh, yeah, I got screwed out because of that whole question, technicality thing. No, here he lost. He got played by Boston Rob. And it genuinely upsets him, and that's why he's bitter. And I think there's absolutely no reason for that. And it really sours me on him. Kathy says, what's the perception? And how Rob, are we going to be friends outside of here? Can we mend this fence? Or is this, are we done? Which is, again, very sad. I feel bad that Kathy really took this to heart as much as she did. She's not bitter as much as she is just upset. And Alicia kind of goes on a tirade about how she was screwed over and she's bitter. And Tom basically asks, like, why Amber? Why not? Like, why do you deserve to win? And then he goes to Rob. He's like, hey, no hard feelings, man. I'm in 5th, but I should have been in 3rd. No hard feelings. And Rob gets to shake his hand, and he goes, don't be stupid, and kind of psychs him out. And I'm like, Tom is a great television character. But, again, his bitterness sours me on him because, Tom, you could have went to 3rd had you not fucked up how you were talking to Rob at the end there. And also, if you just flipped with Rupert and Jenna, you could have ran the game, and you just didn't because you were too confident. So there's no excuse. Again, just super pissed that Tom is so bitter. Rupert basically, again, is like, Amber, why do you deserve to win? Because I can think of a lot of reasons why Rob does. Jenna asks, what are you going to do with the money? And I think Amber does give a little bit of a better answer. Sheehan says, 3 reasons that the other one deserves the money. And basically Rob's statements are, hey, consider my game. Don't think of this as personal emotions. The things that you guys said to me today really hurt my feelings a little bit. But I played this game the best way I know how to play this game. Don't take any of it personally. I think I outplayed everyone here. Amber says, I played the best that I could. And I think that's absolutely correct. She got very lucky with who she rode, but Amber played the best way Amber can. And the vote comes out 4-3. Amber Burkich, now Amber Mariano, wins Survivor All-Stars. The 4 votes she got were Lex, Alicia, Sheehan, and Tom. The 3 Rob got were Kathy, Rupert, and Jenna. And really, I think Sheehan, I do respect why she said Amber, because when she left, she voted out Amber, saying that Amber was the best player, and if she gets to the end, she'll win. And I think she made that poetic instead of ironic. And then the other 3 bitter jurors, of course, they voted for Amber. Kathy did vote for Rob, which surprised me, and she said, I hope it was worth it. And so Rob gets $100,000, but ends up marrying the person who gets the mill. And then they do, America's favorite player is going to get $1 million. And it comes down to Colby, Boston Rob, and Rupert. And Rupert gets $1 million. He basically wins Survivor without actually winning Survivor by being America's favorite person. And so that's awesome. And that was a great moment. It was good to see Rupert get that. Rob definitely would have been a little more soiled because, he's already got here. And Colby would have been better on Australia. Not now. He left pre-jury here. But yeah, it was a very emotional season. I think there were some egos heading into this thing, and it just, like I said, I think other all returning player seasons are much better. I think All Stars, like after this, they were like, ooh, yeah, we're not bringing people back. And if we do, we're just only going to do a couple. We're not going to bring back a whole cast because these people, it's brutal. We don't want this again. You had 2 quits. One was totally justified. You had 2 quits. You had the Suhawk situation, which was not pleasant. You have bitter jurors. You have, Jerry leaving the reunion show. You have just not a fun time for anyone. But I thought the season was okay. But if you take away all the negative stuff, like if all that stuff didn't happen, the season probably be a little better. But it does get a little boring when Rob starts running the table. But it is great to see that strategy be played. It's just not the most entertaining television, but there are some characters here. So all in all, Survivor All-Stars, not as enjoyable as Amazon and Pearl Islands, but it was enjoyable nevertheless. Stay tuned next time. We're going to be talking about Survivor Vanuatu, which is going to be fun to talk about. I'm actually very ready to talk about that season. So I'll see you guys next time, and y'all have a good night. Stay nerdy.